your name in all the earth. Ooh, you're glorious, yeah. Is your name in all the earth.
PSAAOS, Brandon Henson, my friend, my brother from a different mother. I'm going to tell all my people how I know you, Brandon. I don't know you from life other than umpire. I remember the game we had at Charlotte. I think we actually stayed out on the field about all day. I'll let you expound on it. But Brandon, one thing that you've always done, you've always stood out to me to be a person of character, heck of an umpire. You've been my crew chief before, heck of a crew chief. You're a leader on the field, and you struck me as a man of conviction and faith. And when I reached out and asked you to do this, I didn't know. And I asked you the question, you said yes. So this is about my walk and basically friends of mine coming on. Let's talk. Let's tell a little bit about what God's done for you, what he means to you. And if we can draw one person closer, Brandon, then he'll do what he did to me this morning when I got on my knees and prayed during meditation. He said, yesterday, my son, was a job well done. So that's what we're after each day, having our Father and Savior tell us a job well done. So Brandon, look, tell us a little bit about that. Tell us why you're here tonight.
All right. Well, long story short, I'll back up a minute where I'm from. I'm from a farm in the middle of nowhere in Iowa, where I was raised on a big cattle farm, junior high school. Got a full scholarship to go to Arkansas State University, play football. From there, I wanted to go be a major league umpire, and to most people that doesn't make any sense. So I graduated when I was 22, and a month later, in January, I went to umpire school. Got a job out of there right away. Went to P-Buck. Spent 8 years in the minor leagues. 7 spring trainings, year in Venezuela. Came all the way through, and really and truly, in the middle of the season, in AAA, second year, healthy, doing great, was a two-man. To give you the life of the baseball world was, I just knew that the career for me for 200 days on the road, long story short, wasn't about any happiness. That wasn't for me bringing fulfillment to my life. And in the baseball world, the umpire world, the minor league world, two things really happen when you get to AAA. 99% of people is you stay there till the very, very end, until you either get released or you become a major league umpire. Very few people at all do what I did. Single, not married, no kids, finances well, and walked away from the game. And, that was a big thing in my life, but I knew deep down inside to this day was the right decision for me. I like to umpire. I love to umpire some days, but it wasn't bringing me fulfillment and happiness from going to spring training March 1st, living in a hotel, till September, October. And David, to build on that, I thought about this. I thought about the whole year before, off season of 15, spring training 15, in the season, and PCL 15. If I really truly wasn't enjoying it every day at the ballpark, all the travel, why would I enjoy it? Of all the stress when you got 15 cameras on the field, the pressure on the big leagues, and 40,000 people. So I made probably a decision of a lifetime. Some good, bad, I guess I really don't care. I knew between me, the man above, and the mirror is the right decision for me. And I thought long and hard about it that whole off season. Didn't really talk to a lot of people. Talked to one of my really good friends, and he told me, you deal with it, and you have to live with that. You live with that consequence. I thought about it, and I prayed about it. And still to this day, I know I'm content and I'm at peace with making that decision. I really am. Here we are, almost a full 5 years later. Got out of pro ball, went home to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and worked for the Miami Dolphins for another 2 years in the off season, worked stadium operations, run around a bunch of hours at every Dolphin game, 50, 60-hour weeks. And for me, maybe I kind of get off track here for a second, but for me, I've always had the highest honor for the military. When I was in high school, when I went to college, when I left college. I personally, this is a personal thing, that I think everybody in society should have to do 2 years, like Korea, like Israel, like many countries. And if you made it mandatory, if Congress, my opinion, it's just my opinion by me, made it mandatory when you get out of high school or you get out of college, 24 months in the military. Doesn't have to be combat, doesn't have to be boots on the ground. You can pick the branch, you pick the career field. So I thought about it long and hard from leaving pro ball for 3 years. So at the ripe age of 34 years old, David, and I had thought about for a year and a half every single day, I went and enlisted in the United States Air Force. And I went to single, healthy, great shape at 34 years old. I got on a plane and went to basic training, 34 years old,
Wow.
to San Antonio, Texas. And I've told this story to our squadron. I've told this story to many airmen here in the Washington, D.C. area. A lot of officers, people from the Pentagon and the Andrews Air Force Base, they said, "Are you the umpire? Are you the guy that's in your 30s? Tell us your story." I've been at the White House, and I've had GS-15s come up say, I had a guy say, "Your rank doesn't add up with your age. What happened? Like I got kicked out or got a drunk driving or something." I told him my story. But anyways, it's a firm believer I have that every person in society, this is a great country. This is the greatest country on earth to this day, to this moment. And if I got to live another 40, 50 years, if I'm given that right, that opportunity, that freedom, well, the least I could ever do in my life, even at 34 years old, was get off the bus in San Antonio and be named the dorm chief for 9 weeks and go through hell with 49 other people on my flight. And I'm talking people from all over the country, black, white, Hispanic, from Ghana, Dominican, all in my flight. Me, Brandon Henson from a little farm in Iowa was in charge of those guys. And then from there, I went through 9 weeks of hell, graduated, and luck and timing, the Lord blessed me with height. I'll be honest, being taller helped. But I got the dream of a lifetime to come into the military at 34 and then to get picked out of basic training, recruited to be in the Presidential Honor Guard. So they ripped up my contract, my job I had, and I came here to Washington, D.C. For a 16-week tech school. Ran hundreds of miles, thousands of push-ups, thousands of sit-ups. Graduated December 18. And for almost this year, it'll be 2 years exactly. I'm a pallbearer at Arlington National Cemetery and probably have almost done probably about 600 funerals. Wow. So that's my life in the last pro ball, going back to Florida and coming into the military. And I'm single, no kids. I'm dating someone. We're just getting into dating in the early stages. That's fine. I'm excited, healthy. But I believe being a Christian, my faith, higher power, is a lot more than just me, Brandon Henson, of course. And a lot of people come to me all the time, David, say, "Brandon, you're one of the most positive, if not the most positive person I know of all my friends." Of all my friends. I say, "Why me? Why me?" And I say, and I tell people all the time, David, I say, well, when I put my 2 feet on the ground every day, I'll be up tomorrow morning, 4 a.m. I got 6 funerals at Arlington National Cemetery. You make the choice. And the choice is when you lay in bed, the first 30 seconds that go through your head when the alarm goes off, what the day's going to be. I already know tomorrow it's going to be 25 degrees, dark when I get up. I'll be freezing in the morning. But I make that choice every day to be happy, full of life, excited about things. And I will give thanks to a lot of people, but one person that I thank the world of is my mother. We talk every day. She lives on a farm in the middle of nowhere in Iowa, Angie Peterson. Wow. And I'm her only child between my real mother and real father. I'm their only child. And my mom if anybody calls her, anybody reaches out to her, if you call her right now, David Brown, she'll welcome you in the house. She'll call you. She'll text you. You say, come to the farm right now. What can we do for you? And she's the most happiest, go-lucky person. And she turns 60 years old this Friday. And she went to college, got her master's degree at 54. And I pushed her and told her, and do this, and go back to school. And whatever she has grown up with, my mother has transferred to me in my whole walk of life, from joining the Air Force to being a major league umpire. So, you know, it's not all Brandon Henson, or it's not all the individual David Brown looking in the mirror and saying, you know, I did this, and you did do it. You put in the sweat and the years and the tears and the trials and the tribulations, but someone has been there, if that's your wife or your kid or a best friend, to push you along the way. And I tell every umpire this, and we've all heard this, we all need a mentor along the way. And I could never have gotten into college game without a mentor. I could never have went to umpire school without learning which one to go to. My high school baseball coach told me what an umpire was: go umpire junior high baseball. But we all need a mentor. And I would tell you this, my mentor for a lot of my life is my mother.
Wow.
She's a very positive person. She's going to tell me, I brought girls around her, and she'll tell me right away, she's not the one. She's not the one for you. You're trying too hard. What are you doing with her? In 5-10 minutes. I'll be very honest. But every day when I have good days, we all have good days, Dave. We have bad days. You're irritated here. I'm in Washington, D.C. We have traffic and all the political everything going on. And, I work with people from all over the country, all over the world in the honor guard. And a lot of times I'll call my mom just randomly about whatever. And if I hadn't heard from her by noon or late in the afternoon, trust me, she'll call me about something. But I believe my mother's my peer support, but a lot of it, my biggest motivator, because of her going to college in her 50s, her being the most genuine, nicest person that I've ever seen treat people, respect people, and very little is given back. But somehow she gets out of bed every day and she's happy-go-lucky. And that's how I try to live my life. So
I'd love to meet your mom one day, because I'm going to tell you, man, when I called you in the gym the other day, I got a little bit teary-eyed, because I saw something in you, man. It was like, man, this dude is real. And one thing that baseball's taught me, there's real and there's fake. And
sure.
And I can spot it. Like I've been blessed with that. And it seems like your mother's translated some of that to you. The goodness, the way she can spot your girlfriends is, hey dude, this ain't right. This ain't right. And here's what we're gonna do here. We as we get into you being a regular on my offering to my people. This band I wear, American Legion Baseball, and it's a wounded warrior, and I don't ever take it off. And they're gonna take off Jesus Loves Umpires, and then the copper that my wife gave me, just like my ring. I'm a war buff. I love Platoon. I'll watch Saving Private Ryan 10 times in a row if my wife would not kick me in the head and tell me let's go to bed. I would just watch it back to back. And here's the dichotomy of why I think God said, okay, Dave, I need you to take your personality. I need you to find people with your personality that love me. Show people how this is supposed to be done. Because here's the deal. When I go to American Legion World Series, 90 years old. These guys, some of them can't walk well, but they're coming to Shelby every year for that World Series. And dude, I can't wait to sit down and talk to them. You stormed Normandy? What? You were Private Ryan. That was you? Let's talk. As much reverence as I have for that. And then to hear the country get ripped apart about the flag and people protesting, and dude, as much as I love that generation is what this country was built on. And man, don't mess with my military. Don't mess with my military. Yet that, Brandon, yet that generation, you know, is the same generation that and that grandmother, you can't learn that. People take them away and rip it apart. But Brandon and Dave Brown, we could sit and talk about it. Look, and I know I'm rambling a little bit in my heart, man. As far as this country is came, we're not living up to what we can be, Brandon, because we have lost Jesus Christ. When you get those young men storm those beaches and fought that war, we have drifted so far away from what those men meant. We
absolutely.
And those guys. We hide behind those men. Brandon, it bothers me. It bothers me, and it bothers me because there's a lack of Jesus Christ in there. Please elaborate on that for me. I think you understand where I'm trying to go.
In my opinion, and this is just me, I'm one individual, Brandon Henson. I think a lot of it, church has been taken out of the school. Pledge of Allegiance, national anthem. They don't say in schools anymore, and in kindergarten and elementary. When I was in kindergarten or first or second grade, we had to do the Pledge of Allegiance every morning. My little town in Iowa on the farm. And I've told people this all year with everything going on in, say, politics or in the big cities or the election. This is just me. Where I go to work every day is, one could argue, and I know I will, it's the most hallowed ground in America. Some people want to go to capitals or monuments or to beaches or cities. I literally go to Arlington National Cemetery, where Robert E. Lee, his house is there in the Civil War. And they started putting dead soldiers in the front lawn from the Civil War in the North and the South. All of a sudden, they had thousands of them. They said, where you want to bury them? And they started right here. And a lot of people don't know that's what became Arlington National Cemetery. In Arlington National Cemetery, you have three bodies of the Tomb of the Unknown, that quote unknown. You have multiple space shuttles that blew up on the way to outer space to go for a higher challenge and a power on Earth, to see what else is out there, have buried there. You have JFK and his wife's graves there, multiple generals there. And to me, it obviously goes back to what I believe in of joining the military. Those people, over 600,000 buried at Arlington from every World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan to present day. To me, I'm not going to say left, right, the middle, Republican, Democrat. All those men, in my opinion, would look at today's society and this year and say, this is not quite the reason we went and fought in Normandy or Vietnam or Iraq or Afghanistan.
Amen.
Because if they could all somehow come back to Earth, come back and have their 15 minutes or 6 feet above and be healthy, they would all look at society as a country and say, none of us fought for this. None of us did this. It doesn't matter what era and what nation, where you're from. And so I still remember I think every day of the good that's in the world, because I get to go see amazing. I'll go see the Tomb of the Unknown tomorrow morning at 8 or 9 in the morning. They'll be marching 21 steps. And that place has been there forever. But where I get to go to work and what I see every day, David, is honor, dedication, freedom, liberty, peace, for family, for your neighbor, to have the right to believe, not to ruin or beat down or criticize and spite and hate. And so,
and that's my point, Brandon. If my grandmother could see what this country has given her grandson the opportunity to do,
right,
to talk to you and to move people to Jesus Christ, how far we've come, that generation, where we were and where we are, all this going on, she would roll over in her grave And when I get the chance to sit here and discuss this with an Air Force guy, a man of God, who goes to Arlington Cemetery every day, how can you not be touched by that? How can you not? That'll get in you.
Yeah.
That'll get in you.
And another thing, David, to add to this comment is when I say this, I wish everybody had to serve 2 years in the military. And a lot of people think, right when I say that, I know my mother or multiple people think, oh, you mean out of the country, boots on the ground at war? No, less than 3% go out of the country deployed or even do combat or boots on the ground. But what I mean is you pick a career field in any branch, could be lawyer, medical, security forces, police, fire rescue. There's over 500 career fields just in the Air Force. And if you do leave the country and go get stationed in Korea, Japan, Africa, Germany, this is the kicker for me that I think the world, I think Major League Baseball, I got to go to Venezuela. Like if you are in the military and you do get extra pay and go get stationed somewhere in the world, is you go somewhere and you see how amazing we have it here every day. That when David goes out of his house tomorrow, he has security. You have flat roads. You have running water. You have police you can call. You have a bank that has money in it. I saw it every day in Venezuela. So if you join the military, and my thing, I don't say join the military because, VA loan, you get extra benefits, tax-free money leaving the country, retirement pension. No. The military teaches you if you get to go out of the country to represent your country, to be stationed, when you come back on this soil, you understand how amazing it is here. After you've been to Korea, Japan, Guam, been deployed in Iraq or Afghanistan. So that's where I speak of when I say everybody should have to join the military. Your love for duty and country when you come back here is 10 times more than it will ever be in your life. So all these people at Arlington and your grandmother would say, yeah, they joined the military to a higher calling, but they know where they went and when they came back. And to see it going on here in the country, in the home front, that's the pain. That's the pain when I see every day, knowing I made a difference in my 30s to go. And all these people at Arlington are rolling over in the grave saying, wow, what you guys are all better than this.
And I think you're right, because I can tell you this, as a young man, the biggest mistakes I made in my life, Brandon, I made them between the ages of 18 and 22.
Right.
So the discipline that the military could give you, I'm not, you know what? The beauty about what I'm trying to do here is sometimes you and I are going to come on here and disagree, but we're going to show people how to do it and still be Brandon and Dave. That's lost in this world, and I want to bring some of that back. I don't disagree with the military thing and our men. We have lost our men in this country. Doesn't matter what color you want to talk about. We have lost our young men to the video games, to drugs, to alcohol, to a lot of things. We have lost our men, and that would be an avenue of capturing it back and teaching discipline at an age when you're very, very impressionistic. Okay.
Yeah.
You Play-Doh right then, and the world, we're letting the world mold our young men. We need to grab that back. So look, Secretary of State, I don't know where you're heading one day, but once you get to where you're making those kind of decisions, then let's get that back on the table in Congress, okay?
Yeah, I got
you. All right.
You're exactly right.
So what you want to have a family, kids? What's the plan here? I know you're dating. You're 6'4".
Yeah,
you're 6'4". You built like a linebacker. I mean, I know your mom's on you. Grandkid. Your mom, by the way, is the same age I am. You know that? Yeah.
Well, it's good. Good. Yeah.
So I got two grandkids, dude. You can't be depriving her too long now. Come on. You gotta come on around with it now. Okay.
No, I'll be, yeah. I mean, it's not that I'm not gonna be honest. I will. I mean, with hold on, Dave, with coming to DC and living here, and I bought a condo here, and this is home. This is home for till I either get out of the honor guard here in a year and a half, or good chances I could stay here because there's so much opportunity if I go federal law enforcement or get in one of the 3-letter agencies here in the city. And I will date too. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't tell half the world and the country, my mother, that 4 or 5 nights a week I'm out doing stuff. Don't get me wrong. I got to get up at 4:30, but I do go out on nights. Like tonight was a big night. I want to see you. I'm busy the next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night doing stuff, going out. I'm not gonna say I go out and agree hardcore with a lot of the liberal ladies. In the first 5 minutes we sit down to dinner and they say right away, "Who did you vote for?" I'm like, "Well, you don't even know my last name." Yeah, they've already checked me out.
I love it.
And I sit here and say, "You're going to have more fun with me than you've had in the last 6 months." But they want to know first question, if I'm a liberal, if I'm in the middle, if I'm a Republican. I said, "Geez." And that's true. That is very true, David.
Wow.
No, but I've been talking to a girl for probably, it's very new. We're talking a month and a half. If at Christmas, I wouldn't be bringing her home to Christmas in Iowa just because she would get ate alive. And I've done that before and it backfired in my face way too soon. But I'm doing good. I'm healthy. I probably am too much, much into work in the Air Force. And I know, yes, quote David, my clock's ticking, Brandon, you just turned 36 and you're 4 years from 40. I've heard that all year from my mom and aunt. They don't say my age. They just say I'm 4 years from 40. Like it's a big difference in age, 36 or 4 years from 40.
How you look at it?
Which one is it,
4 years from 40 is pretty scary, brother. Sounds a lot worse.
I know it is. That's a half decade, man.
Well, look, I know you got to get up. You got to get up. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, that's just my thing. So, I date. I do. I'm probably, to be frank with you, I'm probably a little bit more on the serious side for work. And I don't know if that's the military has changed me a little bit to be like that, or you just don't play around when you got to get up consistently every single day at 4:30, especially in the summer when it's 100 degrees and you're in full uniform. So, I date and I go out and I do a lot more on the weekends, but during the week from Sunday to Thursday night, I got my own curfew that I'm pretty much chilled and locked away by 9:30, because you get up consistently every day at 4:15. It's just a different life. It's a different animal,
And that's me, man. I've been getting up at 5. I get up at 5 o'clock. The clock gets me up at 4:30. I'm up meditating, talking to my father, and that's why I'm gonna get off that last question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Talk to me about the moment Jesus Christ, the moment you called him Father and said, "Hey, I know who my Maker and my Redeemer is." I like to explore those moments in individuals that I know have a walk with Jesus Christ.
Sure. So, for me, I was actually younger. And I'll tell you, so my mother and father, my mom's from Iowa originally. My dad is from Arkansas. They met in Florida, outside of Orlando, got married, had me at 1 years old, moved back to Arkansas. Didn't work out. They got divorced. I was raised in Iowa my whole adult life from my mom and my stepdad. My mom remarried my stepdad when I was in 4th grade. So I was 10 or 11 years old. So my mom, in getting remarried, I came and talked to her. I was 10 or 11 about going to church, Jesus, finding Jesus. And we talked about it at home. And she says, "Well, would you be interested? Like I said, that was 4th grade, end of 4th grade. Are you, we talked with the preacher about where you're at, Brandon, in his age and his life, and being baptized at my mom's wedding. And when my mom got remarried to my stepdad, it was actually in Orlando. in a private ceremony at Disney World. So I was fourth grade at, like I said, 10 or 11 years old. So 10, 11, and I went to junior high school is when I came in. So, a lot of people, get baptized at 40 years old or 30 years old. Mine was just younger. And so I think it's, I've had highs and lows, but I've never forgot that day, David. I never forget that day. We still talk about it. My mom, we talked about maybe a week ago about that day, about her wedding, about getting baptized. Yeah. And it's like a fulfilling, joyous moment that no matter her struggle back home medically with a couple things going on, where I'm at, maybe here, and, man, the military's beat me out, because not every day is roses. That's, I'm telling you all the good days. We still talk about that day and being a Lord and being a Christian. And my parents are divorced, but my father's side is from Arkansas, and they're very, very hardcore, intense, Southern Baptists. My two aunts, two uncles, my father. And I have an aunt that, every time we talk about it, it's, Brandon, how you been? How's the faith? How's the word? How's your schedule? How busy you been? Have you been to church? Who have you influenced, or who have you helped along the way? And I wasn't brought up, to be honest, in a church like that. I was brought up Lutheran in Iowa, a lot more probably private and conservative. We only went to church on Sunday. There was nothing else during the week. And in the Southern Baptist home, where my dad's side of the family is from, in Jonesboro, West Memphis, and Wynne, Arkansas, I think they went to church Wednesday, Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Monday night football, Tuesday morning, and Wednesday. So you can be from anywhere, in my opinion, and you can practice your faith or your belief anywhere. Just that's the difference of me growing up in maybe a more conservative Lutheran home in rural Iowa in the middle of nowhere versus, a Baptist person in the South. So obviously same, Christianity, same walk with the Lord, of what your belief is. It's just different if Lutheran versus Baptist in the South. That's my opinion. So, it was at an early age, and, I've that's what I look at. And I remember a lot of happiness from that time, even though I haven't been married, or even though I don't have a child, I still think about that time, that highlight of my life, Well,
brother, you move people with the way you walk and carry yourself. And that's what I want to do in my life. I want people who doesn't know him to see him in me. So if you were to tell someone tonight that didn't know Jesus and wanted to know him, if you could give them one piece of advice, Brandon, before we break, what would that be, man?
I tried for many years to be a major league umpire, and it's not that I did not want to or change that career, but the game runs out, the umpire runs out, you run out of games. I work at Arlington National Cemetery. I see the very end of someone's life. And guess who is always standing there every single funeral? A military chaplain that talks about your life. And when they talk about me, Brandon Henson, it'll be minuscule, if anything, that they talk about his umpiring career, his little baseball career. But what I will think they talk about is the decency and the person he was, and how he helped and how he touched and brought a positive influence in a light to people. And that was brought on by something a lot more than myself. And I think that was brought on between my mother, who I think the world of, but obviously Jesus Christ, being a Christian. So, when my time on here, earth is done, because David, I tell people this all the time, we're all on the clock, and we're all not getting out of here alive. So a lot of people don't want to hear that, don't want to talk about it, keep it private. I keep it wide open in public. We're all on the clock. We're all not getting out of here alive. So when they talk about you, make sure you have a relationship. You've done something. You've reached out to learn. with the man above. So,
Brandon, you're an incredible guy. You've touched Dave Brown in a mighty way. I've watched your walk, and it's made an influence on me. And I'm glad I can call you friend. And my friend,
yes, sir.
I'll be calling on you often to help me deliver whatever it is he's got me doing right now. And I will need help. I'll need soldiers. And trust me, brother, you're going to be a go-to for me. I appreciate you.
Hey, anytime. I think a lot of you, kind of like I told you on the phone the other day when you called me, and I really believe this. A lot of people might be smoke and mirrors when they say this, but if you put me, if I could still go umpire, did I lose you? Oh, there you go, Dave. If I could still go see guys every weekend, I would do it for free to go enjoy the companionship, the camaraderie, and the friendships. I really would. People say, no, you're not, Henson, you're lying. Yes, I would. The games are just extra that we have to do. And when you get on that friendship level and I get to see Dave Brown week 1 or week 5 or week 10, I can't wait. I'm on the way. And if we get rained out all weekend, it makes the weekend all better.
Yeah.
Because then I get to hang out with Dave Brown 3 nights in a row or 3 lunches or 3 evenings. Those are a lot more what I remember is personal relationships than the games. You can't even tell me who won the game or lost the game. So that's what I believe. But yeah, anytime. I would love to be more of it. A lot of guys spoke high of Dave Brown. It's been awesome. The few series we've had. And I want you to include me in anything you got.
You got it. And we will, brother. We will.
Amen.